Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount, and I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful Friday. Today is October 3rd. All right, so things for me just got a little bit weirder. Every time new information comes out with this incident, this case, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it seems like we get more questions than answers, and things get stranger almost every single time. I was sent a link to this video, and it's Stephen Gardner, and I'm going to put the link to the full video down in the description below, and I do encourage you to go watch it. Start out by saying that I've watched a lot of Stephen Gardner's content in the past, and I do find him credible. He seems earnest, he seems honest and sincere. I mean, that's really all I can do as far as kind of assessing whether or not this is true. But the information that he provides here, I don't even think people realize what a bombshell this information actually is. Because from a ballistic standpoint, it's huge and it's even more perplexing. But let's jump into it. There's a couple elements that I kind of want to break this into that we're going to go through and just discuss.
I have new details on the Charlie Kirk death that have not been reported anywhere as far as I know. I've been doing a deep dive and I want to go through that information with you. Like Candace Owens, I've been digging in with witnesses, my contacts, and people close to Charlie Kirk that I know have these details.
All right, so I just want to stop it right there and make this very clear. While I have no reason to believe that he is being untruthful about this, we still don't know the validity of this information. This is essentially hearsay. With that being said, it could be 100% true. We might find out a couple weeks from now or during the trial or something like that, that this is technically incorrect. But this information is out there now, so I want to talk about it. And again, that's a disclaimer right there. So take this information for what it is, and basically it's hearsay.
As you know, I've stayed away from the big conspiracy stories. Some of you blasted me for not going over them, and now they've been proven to be sexy and mysterious and sizzling, but completely false. So I am just trying to bring you the truth in between covering other big news stories.
All right, so this is exactly right. This is one of the reasons that I find Stephen Gardner pretty credible. He does stay away from the sensationalism and all of that, and I think he's trying to bring the truth. He's not just trying to get clicks and likes. So again, this entire video has a little bit more credibility with me because of how he has presented information in the past.
So here's what I've gathered. The bullet crashed through C2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Sadly, completely destroying Charlie Kirk's spinal cord. This is what made him tense up. This is what made his heart stop beating, and why gushes of blood versus squirts of blood were coming out of him. The doctor found the main portion of the bullet near his T1 thoracic vertebrae, so near the spine, down where the neck vertebrae connect to the upper back vertebrae. Now, this person that I spoke with did not know whether the bullet was a 30-06. That was not shared. They just referenced it as a bullet. Also, near T1, but not next to the bullet, were multiple fragments of the bullet. Now, a full metal jacket 30-06 round would have gone right through Charlie, would have gone right through the bone of Charlie. A soft point 30-06 would likely have mushroomed, but caused massive amounts of damage, which we didn't see. We also know for a fact no bullet left his body. There was no blood spray, no blood spatter, and no hole in the banner behind him.
So far, everything you said, I agree with. I think it's factually correct. Now, there's some other things he's going to touch on in just a second, and we're going to break those down in a separate portion of this video, because I do disagree with what he's implying from here.
Now we are believing that the bullet, a 30-06, because of the gun that was found in the backwoods near somebody's chicken coop. So that gun had a spent casing of a 30-06, but we don't know with 100% certainty that the bullet that was in that casing is the bullet in Charlie Kirk's neck.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and address this right up front. I think right now with the evidence that we have a picture of a 30-06, we have the charging documents that you can see right here. The charging documents clearly outline the fact that what they have is a 30-06. They have DNA from the 30-06. I think that the FBI has confirmed that it is a 30 caliber round in his neck. I don't know that part is speculation, but I don't think they would have moved forward with these charging documents if they hadn't confirmed that. And I think they would be able to confirm that. That's actually pretty easy to confirm. But I think what we are going to see is that the bullet has been matched to the gun, and we obviously have the gun matched to Tyler Robinson, indeed making him the shooter. And if that match doesn't link up, then prosecution doesn't have a case, and I don't think they would move forward with this if they didn't have a case. So I think there's a lot of evidence we obviously haven't seen. I know there's a lot of evidence that we haven't seen. So if we just separate that part and work off the assumption that it is a 30 caliber bullet and that has been linked to that gun, I think we're in good order, but you let me know if you agree with that portion of it right off the bat. So now let's take another look at the portion of this information that I think is a huge revelation and makes this entire thing more perplexing.
Okay, here's what I've gathered. The injury to Charlie Kirk's neck starts at the C2 neck vertebrae. The bullet crashed through C2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, sadly, completely destroying Charlie Kirk's spinal cord. This is what made him tense up. This is what made his heart stop beating and why gushes of blood versus squirts of blood were coming out of him. The doctor found the main portion of the bullet near his T1 thoracic vertebrae, so near the spine, down where the neck vertebrae connect to the upper back vertebrae.
So not only is that information pretty spectacular, I think it changes some of my analysis if it's true. So we know here on this anatomy chart, we can see the approximate location of, this diagram's Adam's apple. And we know that impact that we see, the wound that we see on Charlie is slightly below that. Now we know from multiple angles that Charlie wasn't sitting perfectly straight up. He was kind of slouching forward. So I've actually moved this graphic a couple of degrees. I canted it just a couple of degrees. It's probably not exact, but it's more accurate than just keeping it straight up and down because that's not how he was sitting. So what we're saying is that even though this bullet is coming at around a 10-degree downward angle, if it just lodged into T1, okay, that makes perfect sense. But what we're also saying is that somehow a
bullet crashed through C2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Folks, that is nuts to me because we have a downward angle. So that's not just changing the direction by 90 degrees, it's more than 90 degrees. And that doesn't make sense to me. So not only did we have this round basically enter below his Adam's apple and hit C2, C3, C4, and C5, and then also hit T1, but we also had bullet fragments go downward and potentially decimate his heart. From a ballistics and physics standpoint, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me if we're dealing with that. Now, going back to what he also said regarding soft point or full metal jacket.
Also, near T1, but not next to the bullet, were multiple fragments of the bullet. Now, a full metal jacket 30-06 round would have gone right through Charlie, would have gone right through the bone of Charlie. A soft point 30-06 would likely have mushroomed, but caused massive amounts of damage, which we didn't see. We also know for a fact, no bullet left his body. There was no blood spray, no blood spatter, and no hole in the banner behind him.
So I completely agree with that. Nothing that we're seeing here can be explained by a full metal jacket round, a soft tip hunting round, and then the fact that we do not have an exit wound is one of the most inexplicable, with a 30-06, is one of the most inexplicable parts of this entire case. And of course, that has been talked about ad nauseum, right? We've covered it here. Thousands of other people have covered it. We see ballistic tests. None of that makes sense. It's one of the most inexplicable portions of this entire situation. There's no doubt about it. Now, I do think there are a couple options here that can explain, if this is true, that can explain this, and we're going to jump into that. All right, folks, so I'm back there editing this video, and we're a little over 10 minutes in, and it's going to be much, much longer. I'm going over some very technical stuff to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to end up releasing that as a second part. This is not meant to be a cliffhanger or anything else. We're just talking about, at least another 20, 30 minutes of video to really go through what I'm talking about. And I'll just tell you straight up, the only thing that makes sense to me that explains the physics, the ballistics, the description and mechanism of injury, everything that's going on with where bullet fragments ended up, is a combination of ballistic protection and frangible ammunition. That combination is really the only plausible explanation why we have bullet fragments going all the way up to, again, the C2, going all the way down to the heart, and still not having any sort of exit wound. And you can see on this clip right here, I really do believe that what we're looking at is a ballistic panel that is preventing the exit of a round. And in this video, besides the fact that I think it's pretty clear evidence that some ballistic panels were preventing an exit wound, I think this also just clearly proves that there was no other shot coming from any other direction. I mean, the ballistics and the physics that we're observing here can only be explained by a shot to the front. It does not prove that Tyler Robinson is the one that took that shot. But again, just like I said early on, what we're witnessing here clearly rules out any shot that's coming from, his 4 o'clock or from the side or anything like that. We see, number one, an impact that is clearly from front to rear. We see Charlie move backward in his chair. We see his necklace, or whatever you want to think that is, flying rearward. Like, the idea that what we're witnessing is the result of a shot from a right side or left side or any other direction just doesn't make sense to me. We're going to be talking about it a lot more, but I definitely want to hear your opinion, so leave those down in the comments below. And make sure you're joining us for all of our live streams. So like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, and select all, so that when we do a live, which we normally have these scheduled every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, that's a given, but we have been doing spontaneous ones based on new information or new developments in the case, or when we have a special guest that has the opportunity to come on at a specific date and time. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, select all, so that you're notified when we do have these live streams or when we release new content. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.